joined, however, on the line by ex-jockey, absolute legend of the sport, Willie Carson. Good morning. Hello, Willie. Good morning.
Hello. Hello. Yes. Good morning.
Hello, Willie. We can't hear you too well. We hope that you can hear us. Talk to us about the Sandown Eclipse, Willie. Obviously, you've won that race 3 times. What does it take?
It takes a good horse. Well, it's normally, to win the Eclipse, it's a mile and a quarter, and it takes a horse with stamina, blessed with speed. Derby horses sometimes are a little bit prone to not have enough speed for the race. The Eclipse is one of those sort of races. It comes between the milers and the mile and a half, and you get the specialised animal who has got the speed over the mile and a quarter, and it is usually it's a race that a horse has to have speed rather than stamina.
Okay, and what do you make of those Derby horses this year? Was it a good crop of 3-year-olds coming out of the Derby? Can we see one of those 3-year-olds stepping up to the plate today to take on the likes of the few?
You would have to say that Australia looks like an exceptional, really exceptional winner at this stage. Before they sort of, because normally the Eclipse is the first time the 3-year-olds meet the older generation. And it's a test today. Of course, we've got, you've got the grey horse, and he is Kingston Hill, finished second at Epsom, and he's up against a filly. Now, the fillies have got a very bad race, very bad record in this race, the Fugue. There's only 3 fillies ever won the Eclipse ever since it started. So she's got that against her, and obviously she ran a very poor race in the Eclipse last year. But after Ascot, you would have to say that she's the hot favourite to win today. And of course, being Kingston Hill not getting the ground that he really wants. He really wants ground where he gets his toe right in. And they've had a little bit of rain, but have they had enough? That is the big question.
Well, I don't think so, Willie. I think there's only been some 3 or 4 millimetres round at the Esher-based course there at Sandown. 2 that I would like to touch on. I know that you're quite into breeding as well, Willie, so I'd like to ask you, Night of Thunder and War Command, both of them going into the unknown today, trying that extra 2 furlongs. I know that Night of Thunder has Galileo on the mare side, and War Command also has some staying blood in his pedigree. What are the chances of those 2 stepping up in trip?
You would have to think that they've got a very good chance of getting the trip. Night of Thunder, the 2,000 guineas winner, a little bit surprising how he did it, swerving away just before the line, how he picked up, and then he got beat at Ascot by John Gosden's horse. Now, it's a little bit confusing about Night of Thunder, because you would have to think he's got the form in the Guineas, but he got beat at Ascot. So you're just a little bit doubting whether he's got the ability to win an Eclipse. But you wouldn't be surprised if he did do it.
OK, and also the jockey that jumps on board. Let's talk about some of those movements in the jockeys. We've got Kieran Fallon goes to ride True Story, whereas Richard Hughes now jumps on Night of Thunder. Frankie Dettori gets the ride on Kingston Hill. Of course, from a jockey's point of view, what's the most positive one to note there, Willie?
Well, positives. There's no positives. I wouldn't think don't read anything into jockeys' changes, because they're all because of situations. Richard Hughes is basically retained for the stable, and Senzi has had to go because of his retainer to Haydock. So basically, there's nothing to be read into jockey changes. That's the way I see it. OK,
well, we won't read too much into it on that advice then, Willie. Just before we move away, I do want to touch on where your grandson is taking a few rides today, Leicester and Nottingham. We'll touch on those and also maybe talk a little bit about the racing at Belmont. But so could you just give us whether you've got a selection in this Coral Eclipse today?
Well, I'd have to go with the filly, and to be the fourth filly to win the Eclipse. Because Kingston Hill hasn't got his ground, you've got the doubts about the two other 3-year-olds getting the trip. You've got the pacemaker Damran, who obviously will make the running, because that seems to suit him best. So you're going to get a true run race. So basically, you really want a horse that's going to stay the mile and the quarter well, especially up the Sandown Hill. So it all points to the Fugue winning the race today, especially that the ground is staying on the firm side. OK, well, big positives for the Fugue then. As I said, your grandson William, he had a winner actually last time out on Shifting Star. Is there any little word that you can let on to us? I see he takes 3 rides at Leicester and then 1 ride at Nottingham, actually for Anthony, isn't it, on Argo? Well, Argo, I do have a share in this horse, and we're expecting a big run from him tonight. Cannot say he will win, but a big run is expected. The extra 2 furlongs we're hoping will suit him. He ran at Newmarket disappointingly on soft ground, so he's not encountering that unless they get a downpour between now and then. So obviously the things are looking up for him for a big run, but I can't say to you that he would definitely win. But he'll run big, and it's nice to see that Jamie Osborne, who, as we know, is biting his fingernails in New York. William rides a couple of horses for him at Leicester this afternoon. Not the stable stars, but obviously horses that have got chances. OK, and lastly, as I say, the Belmont, I don't know whether you've had a chance to, or even, take a keen interest in these Belmont races this evening. They're big grade ones. I didn't want to cast your memory back to the jump of De Jure over the Shadow unluckily second in that Breeders' Cup sprint. But touching on the Derby and the Oaks, I don't know, Adelaide for Aidan O'Brien, Toast of New York for James Osborne, and O'Brien actually has a strong hand in the fillies race as well. Anything to note there, Willie? I haven't studied the American form, sorry, but you would have to think that Toast of New York has got a great chance after what he did in Dubai. I'm not an expert on the form in America. I'd rather keep reading about the English form rather than American form. But obviously Jamie Osborne, they're going there with a horse that they're really expecting to be okay on the dirt, on their surface. And the way he did things in Dubai, he's an exceptional animal. He really is a very good horse. Jimmy McCarthy, who rides him, his ex-jump jockey, who rides him out every day, he's sort of had that very, very good preparation. And obviously, you would have to think an English people going over there has got to have a great chance of bringing back a few bucks to England. Definitely, yeah. It's an eye-catching booking there, and we will be keeping our eyes on those. Well, races. We'll have to cheer for them, But England are not doing very well at sport throughout, we get beat at everything. So let's hope the horse racing can keep the English or the British England are knocked out of the World Cup, Willie, so we've got to cheer on those Raiders. But look, we've got to let you go because we're going to cut to an advert break now. I must thank you for joining us, Willie, and also good luck with Mayhay, Secret of Power and Devia, those 3 that you own there. Mayhay, yeah, she runs at Catterick for the week. She might have a chance in a race like that. Okay. It's an auction maiden. She has to run in 3 maidens before she gets a handicap mark, but I would imagine she would run very well. Okay, Willie. And by the way, before you go to your break, Mayhay is named after my mother. Sorry, Willie. Thanks a lot for that insight on that one there. Non-runner, but the one at Catterick we'll keep an eye on. Thanks for joining us, Willie. All of the best, and the Fugue it is for you. Right, it is. Cheers, Willie. Bye-bye. Bye.